Okay, so yesterday my surface mount or my PCBs turned up from China, and there I have the most biggest solder mask ever. Now I needed some components, so I've ordered 5,000, because you might as well on the real, 5,000 1 kilo ohm surface mount resistors, about 5,000 10 kilo ohm resistors, some diodes, these are the little circle things, surface mount diodes, and a chip holder which might not be big enough for it. Let's see what's actually in this thing, yeah? Because it looks obscenely big. There. I'll just pull off, okay, put it down there. It's there, it's not right, isn't it? There we are. What's in the box, as they say? What is in the box? Oh. There's a load of foam. Okay, I see that thing's fairly big. Okay. And there's my cassette. There's my other cassette. That must be my other cassette. And there's my chip holders. That's it, I think. Okay. So actually the box was pretty big. But what we got here, these are silicon diodes, and they, I was expecting some flat package. Let me pause this and see what they look like. Hang on. Okay, the first problem I'm going to have is getting the bloody things out of the packet. And this is under a bit of magnification. There, look. So they look like they're going to fit. Because the problem I had when I ordered the PCB was I should have paid more attention to the package size. Yeah, I thought I'd chosen. So that looks like it'll fit there across it. I don't know which way is which. Yeah, I'm going to have to look this up. And then I'm going to have to get my little microscope out, because that is tiny. But that should just about fit across there, and I guess I can put a blob of solder on that with a normal set. So I guess you put these in first, then put the headers in, yeah? Let's put that back in its package, and let's see what the resistors look like. That's going to be fun getting them out. Okay, so if you can see that in there, let me find something to point to it. And there must, obviously the machine must do this. I haven't got a machine. But I guess, look, there's nothing in that window there, and then there's one there. And I suppose the cassette, like a ticker tape, pulls it through one at a time, loads it into the machine. So there's one there. Let's see if I can get one out. Wow. And there it is there. Oh, tiny little thing, yeah? I think it just fits. Push along a bit. Oh, no. Can I zoom in even more to that? Yeah, that just about fits in there. I think that's touching the metal pad. This is going to be, oh god, sorry. This is going to be fun. Old eyes, shaky hands. What's there? There. Only some tweezers, a lot of patience, and maybe some super glue. I suppose if you get that sticky flux paste, it sort of holds it in here. Let's get it out of the way. Oh my lord, that's really hard. I've seen Great Scott do this. He must have more patience than me. Let's get that out a little bit. There. So that looks like it'll fit there. Yeah, I think the headers are going in last. Let me just check that it's definitely the 10K one. Oh, sorry. A bit close there. 0603. Maybe I could have gone slightly bigger than that, but that's okay. So what 0603 is what it was designed for, according to the spec. 10K, so that's the 10K, that goes in there. So I won't take the other one out because it's exactly the same. It's tiny as whatever, but that's what they do. So I think I'm going to try hand soldering this, but this might be a lot of fun, he said, in a horrible way. We'll see. Right, what's in here then? Is it one of these things where the box is bigger? Let's have a look. No, that's quite nice. There's an instruction manual. We'll be reading that. Not. I don't know what that is. It's like little feet, is it? Let's have a look. Oh yeah, is that little feet? Yeah, I suppose it is. They must two little screws there. Oh look, there's little screw holes there. So I assume they go in there like that to give it some stability. Let's pretend that they're not there for a minute. So I guess they go in like that and like that, And it's bigger than I thought actually, because this I thought was quite a big PCB, but it seems that it will hold it. We'll just pause it and put that in position home. Yep, that's going to work. See, it holds it nicely. So I'll have fun with that, along with these tiny things there. Okay, cheers, bye-bye. Okay, we're going to try and solder some of this zoom pedal fun. I've taken the diodes out first. They always suggest you take them out component by component. So these are diodes here, 1N418W. They're tiny, and I put them up like this. So someone suggested you glue them in place like that, hold them down, and then take the lid off. And hopefully, if you take them out carefully, they'll come out in the same way. And I've got to work out the polarity of these things, because diodes need a specific direction. Okay, so I find actually working out the orientation of diodes quite difficult. So what I've done is I've pre-tinned each of the positive ends there. The negative ends are marked with that little U shape. And then what I do is I put a component on the board, because I can't really see that. Even with a zoom like this, I can't see that yet. And then I test with my meter to work out which way is negative. On the left I want the negative, and then I push the positive towards the pre-tinned part. I attach the solder iron on it, and it's enough just to basically wet it and get it connected. Whether that be a dry joint, I don't know. I've never done this before, but that seems to be working for me at the moment, so I'll carry on with that. Okay, so that's all the diodes done. I've checked the direction. You see there's a W1 on top, so maybe that's the indication. The W1 being in that direction is the orientation. I don't know. So now I've got to put these 1K resistors in here, and I think there's a few more somewhere, but I'll get at least 4. I'll count the 1Ks and I'll get them out. Yeah, so I'll do the same technique where I'll wet one pad, offer it up into place. Now, resistor doesn't matter which direction they go in, but for neatness, it's nice to get them the same way. So yeah, maybe there's a problem there, because maybe I've got a bit. Oh no, that's a bit of white underneath, isn't it? I thought there. Can't even print. I thought there. Look at my thumb. I thought there I made a mistake, but that's a piece of the silk screen underneath, yeah. So I'll get on with that bit and see how it goes on next. Okay, so I kind of got the 1Ks on. I don't know how brilliant they are, but they'll do. Now I've got to put the 10Ks on now. See, I put a blob of solder on each post there. Then I'll put a little bit of flux on the top, and I'll offer them up and just push them in gently. Okay, it's not the prettiest soldering I've ever done, although it's the first time I've ever done surface mount, but I've measured the resistance between this pin and there in a row, and each one is 10K, so they're working, yeah? And I measured between the specific pin and the back end of there, and that's also measuring 1K, so that's good. I guess I could try and measure these up here somewhere, except I haven't put any transistors in. I guess I could measure between where that goes and there. Let me do that. Yeah, I measured it. So this number 1 here is in fact that one there, and then number 2 is there, and 4 and 6. So 3 is that one, and it actually says, look, Q3, Q5, Q7. So I've marked it up right. They're all working. So from the pin to the middle is 1K. Again, it's very gash soldering, but it seems to work here. Now I'm going to clean that off. I've got to find some transistors. I've got some somewhere in my garage, but I'll be blowed if I know where they are. And I've got to remember what I did. So this one obviously is a 90-degree bend, and that one there's a 90-degree bend. So I've got those, but I'll have to look on my design to see whether these are meant to be spikes or sockets. And here, the rail. Now here I did something a bit odd. So you see I've got like there with like a pin 1 whatever. This is where the 3.3 volts and the 0 volts of the ESP is going, and I don't use this last row here. I don't know why. Maybe I made a mistake, and it doesn't matter. So I'm going to put a 19 rail in there and a 19 in there, and then that should move into the shift register. Oh yeah, I've got to put some pin 1 there. I've got to put some chip holders in there, and I need to find my BCRs. But if I can't find a 547, I might consider using a 557 in reverse, because it's PNP, but I need to check that that's a valid solution. I've ordered some to come next week, but I kind of need this for, well, I do need it for tomorrow, but actually I only need this bit of the circuit working, which is for the chip. So this has to go in here, this has to go in here, and this will allow the ESP32 to control the input pins, and therefore the only ones I want to use is to trigger the Bluetooth for the page turner. So I may just put those headers in, because that's fairly easy to do. It's just 4 times 8 sets there, plus 2 19s there, and call it a day, and then finish it off when I need to next week. So I think that's probably the best thing to do. Right, so now I'm going to solder the chip holder in place. So what I've done, I'll show you here actually. I put the chip into some runners, 19 wide, and then I've used a bit of blue tack to hold it in. And this, I'm going to put that down, this should allow me to tack one corner in, and then a diagonal opposite one, and hopefully I'll get a reasonable hold, check it, and then I'll go and solder the rest in. So let me get on with that. So that's the rail in there with the one missing and at the end on purpose, and it's done quite well. Yeah, it's gone in quite well there. So now we're putting this rail in here for the switch grounds. So I'm going to pin this one on the left first and then move across to the other, on the push down the other side. Yeah. Okay, so this is it. The ESP's mounted there. The grounds are wired in there. The 3 chip holders for the 74595 is there. Just checking, because that one says like 16 there. That one says it there. Yeah, okay, there is the little notch in every one. They're all the same way basically. This is for a diag output if you want to see what's coming directly out of these pins. The thing that's missing is the BC547s. I don't have those at the moment, but they only switch from this chip, and so that means that at the moment if I wire it in without those connected, none of these chips will work. So there's no point in putting them in, but those negatives will still work. So if I push the what's that thing called, if I push the tuner button, it won't send the FS1 and 2, but these lines should come into here, and I put a red, a green, a blue, a yellow for like 1 2 3 4. I don't know if that's the way it's actually wired in, but it's the way. Normally that should be column 1 row 1, column 1 row 2, column 1 row 3, column 1 row 4. That's the way it should be, but I don't know if that's the case. There's still a bit of flux on the board. I don't have an ultrasonic cleaner, and maybe I should get one. Yet for my first attempt at surface mount, that's pretty gash, but it seems to work. It was a pain. I admit it took me a few hours, but I've never done this before. It's my first day, yeah. And on reflection, I probably would have used bigger components. I don't need to go this small for it. I guess I didn't really pay much attention to the footprint, but you know, let's wire this up and see. Oh, these are LEDs, is if you want to put LED outputs on there. So the inputs come there, and the cable in goes there, and this is a diag which you could put LEDs onto as well. So you could, I think I've thought of how to do this, that this would be the negative rail, so most time it would be positive, it wouldn't do anything, and when that shorts it would cause a potential difference across the LED with a current limiting resistor you'd have to put in series. Well, there's one there already, so that might actually work as the current limiting resistor, but 10k is quite low. Anyway, so I'm not certain. That's there just in case. So I'm going to wire this in and see if it works. The main thing I want for tomorrow is a set of these to act as the tuner that this thing can send Bluetooth to a page turner. So let me wire it in and see what it does.